Today's lecture in the business strategies is an electronic age. It is about the business strategies in digital economy, impact of IT-enabled systems on value chain, and Porter's value chain model. So let's start with the topic. First of all, what is value chain? It is a business management concept that was developed by Michael Porter. A value chain is a collection of activities that are performed by a company to create value for its customers. Understand this. This is a very important line to understand whole concept of this value chain. A value chain is a collection of activities that are performed by a company to create value for its customer. That means the company is doing some activities so that customer can attract towards their product, one thing, and how they are preparing the product, what is the chain of processes for developing that particular product so that customer can easily attract towards that product. For example, companies are providing some freebies to the customers so that the sale of their product uh, rise in the market. In such manner, companies provide uh, such activities so that the so that the value for its customer for their particular product should rise. Value chains streamline the processes that take a product from concept to market. You have some concept. Now, how to sell that concept? You have a concept to produce a product, but how to implement that concept? So, all this process comes under the value chain processes, and the value chains processes is to take a product from concept to market. You have a concept. Now, how to develop that concept? What are the responsibilities, requirements of that product needs, and finally, the prepared product or final product should be produced into the market. An organization working is made up of various subsystems, each with inputs, transformation processes, and outputs. Every organization has consists of various departments like HR department, recruitment department, purchasing department, packaging department, manufacturing department, uh, and delivery department or transportation department. So this is called the chain which needs to be streamlined or which needs to be coordination between each other so that the concept or the development of that product should remain in a flow and the product should come into the market in the right time. The next point is most organizations engage in hundreds, even thousands of activities in the process of converting inputs to outputs. For example, inputs, transformation processes, and outputs involve the acquisition and consumption of resources like money, labor, materials, equipment, buildings, land, administration, and management. So I have discussed like this, an organization consists of such departments which includes the finance, includes the labor, includes the raw material, how to get the raw material, how to get the equipment, what type of building should we need, and what type of land. It is land near to water or not. It is the land is near to or accessible to the highway or connecting roads or not. Then administration and management. When we consider all these things, To create a product from concept to market, the whole process is called value chain. Then value chain analysis. When analyzing the effectiveness of a value chain model, the economist Michael Porter introduced the following cost drivers that helps to identify the areas for improvement. Okay, so what are those areas of improvement? The number one is economies of scale. A true picture of need includes cost analysis for the size of the demand, whether local, national, or global. So, whatever the product or the concept you are developing, what is the demand of that concept, or what is the demand of that product, what is the scale, and that is a nationalized demand, internationally or local demand or global demand. So with the um, with the analysis of such demands, you prepared a streamlined process for the production of your product so that it can come easily in the market, in a local market or in national market, or in a global market. Then the second is learning. Activities that change the environment for efficiency or improvement, such as scheduling, asset use, and office or warehouse layouts. Learning means activities that change the environment for efficiency or improvement, such as scheduling, asset use, and office or warehouse layout. So we need to learn in a continuously manner to run the industry very efficiently. What are the drawbacks or limitations our organization is having? We have to think it out and working on out all the limitations to make it or to convert all the limitations in a fruitful way so that your employees, workers, your whole departments can work smoothly. So learning is a continuous process in a business. The third one is capacity utilization. Procedures that keep capacity at efficient levels to prevent underutilization or addition of unnecessary capacity. So the meaning of this is, what is the efficiency of your production? So with respect to the efficiency of your productions, you need to order the raw materials, you need to hire the labor, you need to manage the finances, and you need to manage the transportations. So that is called the capacity utilization. The fourth one is linkages among activities, identifying areas of cross-functional improvement through coordination and optimization. So, whatever the improvements we need to coordinate and optimize the things, we must arrange such activities and creating the linkages or bridges, the gap between the so that the coordination will work smoothly, and the product will work or the organization works in an optimized way. The fifth one is interrelationships among business units, opportunities to share information and resources. So we must have interrelationships among business units. There are multiple units of the same product, so you must have um, the good relations with all the units so that you must share the information and resources, or you will get the information and resources from those units. The sixth one is degree of vertical integration, identifying areas of joint integration, or in some cases degree, or in some cases de-integration. That means you need to club with some other industry to bridge the gap between the market, or you need to de-integrate. That means you need to separate from the company and you need to run your organization independently. So all this comes in the degree of vertical integration. It can be joint integration or it can be de-integration. The seventh one is timing of market entry. driven by economic or world conditions and competitive position in the marketplace. That is, what is the appropriate timing for your product to launch into the market. So this is the very important point, so that if you are in, you want to go in a business and you want to release some product, so you must know what are the appropriate timings so that the customer can easily catch your product. The eighth one is firm's policy of cost and differentiation, identified value integrated into the processes. Okay, this is the finance part. So your policy must have a strong financial department, so that they can create the finance policies, and from where you can manages the finances and releases the salaries, or doing the payment for the raw materials, or handling the finances of transportation, production cost, and all. The ninth one is geographic location. This includes wages, climate, and raw materials. Geographic location is very important, where your company is established and from where you can easily get your raw materials. What is the climate of your company? Uh, uh, what is the climate there where your company is situated? And what is the cost of living or cost of execution of a business is there? This is what the geographic location is. The tenth is institutional factors. Here the meaning of institution is like government organizations. So government organizations itself is a very big institution. So these institutional factors includes taxes, unions, and regulations. The income tax department, or the department which regularize the things. So all these are the different institution factors which includes the government, which are the handled by the governments. Then Porter's value chain model. Porter's value chain is a framework for developing an analytic structure that follows interdependent activities from raw material acquisition or idea to production and finally into the hands of a customer. These activities can be classified generally as either primary and support or secondary activities that all businesses must undertake in some form. The primary activities are inbound logistics, involve relationships with suppliers, and include all activities required to receive, store, and disseminate inputs. Second one is operations, are all the activities required to transform inputs into outputs, products, and services. Then outbound logistics include all the activities required to collect, store, and distribute the output. Then marketing and sales means activities inform buyers about products and services, induce buyers to purchase them, and facilitate their purchase. The fifth one is service, includes all the activities required to keep the product or service working effectively for the buyer after it is sold and delivered. So these are the very important value chain model of the porter. The support and secondary activities are procurement. It is the acquisition of inputs or resources for the firm. The second one is human resource management, consists of all activities involved in recruiting, hiring, training, developing, compensating, and if necessary, dismissing or laying off personnel. Then technological development pertains to the equipment, hardware, software, procedures, and technical knowledge brought to bear in the firm's transformation of inputs into outputs. And fourth is infrastructure. Serves the company's needs and ties its various parts together. It consists of functions or departments such as accounting, legal finance, planning, public affairs, government relations, quality assurance, and general management. This is the activity chart of the Porter's value chain model. So in the primary activities, we need inbound logistics, from where we need to arrange the raw material, then operations on the raw material, after the preparing of the product, then outbound logistics where doing the transportation and all, then the marketing and sales of the final product, and after the marketing and selling of the product to the market service, what type of services we are giving to the customer. We Do we have any call center type of things, or so that if the customer got any problem with the product, so we can handle the customer. So all these are the primary activities, and supporting activities are firm infrastructure. What is the infrastructure of your firm? Then human resource management, technology development, and procurement. So a value chain model or a chain model consists of these two activities, the primary activities and the supporting activities. So they are both are bind with each other. So if you want to run an industry, so you have to follow these two activities. These are the references for the current topic, and in the next topic we will study about supply chain and supply chain management systems. Till then, thank you.